Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am back with a video that I've been wanting to make for a while. Today we are going to be talking about the trip that we made to Europe. I get a lot of questions about how much we spent, how I planned it, and everything that we did. So I figured I would make a video for all of you that are interested and want to know more or less how it goes over there. I have my computer here, so let's talk about how I planned it. We picked the countries that we wanted to see the most, then being Spain, France, Germany, Czech Republic, and Italy. So in Spain, we visited Madrid, Barcelona, then we went to Paris, we went to Germany, we went to Czech Republic to visit a friend, and then in Italy, we ended up going to 5 cities, I think, which is Milan, Venice, Florence, Pisa, and Rome. So what I did was I printed out a map of the world and I started seeing how much it would take us to get from one destination to the other one. So from Spain to Barcelona, you can take a fast train and it's only like 2 hours. So that's worth it. And then to Paris, I looked at the distance and it was over 10 hours. So obviously, in that it takes so long, you would want to book a flight, take a flight, because it's a lot faster. From Paris to Germany, it was almost the same thing. So you already know you have to take a flight. From Germany to Czech Republic, it was a lot closer. So we took a train. It was only like 3 hours in the train. And then from Czech Republic to Italy, we flew. Now, in the cities in Italy, they're all pretty close together. So from Milan, it can take you 2 hours to get to Venice, and then from Venice, 2 hours to get to Pisa, and like that on. All the cities are pretty close. So you can either rent a car or take the trains. You have those two options. The flights, we had a direct flight, single way from Miami International Airport to Madrid, Spain. I did the trip with my partner, but I will be giving you guys the price per person. This trip was in June. Around that time, the prices are a little bit more expensive. Originally, we paid almost $800 each, but because I do have price drop protection, the flight ended up going down all the way to $542, so they refunded me that money. So at the end, we ended up paying $542 for that one-way ticket. We stayed in Madrid for around 3 days. So that would be 2 nights, 3 days. We ended up staying outside of the main city, which is the reason why it came out to be a little bit less expensive. So for 2 nights, the total was $162. Between 2 people, it would be around $80, $81. In Madrid, we did a lot of things. I think we ended up getting one of those tricycles, I think you call it, that it takes you around the city. But that was like $10 per person. Another thing that we spent a lot of money on was food, because the food in Spain is amazing. We went to a bar, but I'm not going to count these things because that's very miscellaneous and that's not, that's something that we did, not something that you have to do. Now, the first day, we spent a lot of money on Uber for some reason, getting back and forth from the hotel to the center of Madrid, which not really recommended because there is good public transportation. So we ended up getting, it was like a $10 card for 10 trips. And mind you, it's like New York. It's super fast. We went to Museo del Prado, which is a huge, huge, huge museum where there is a lot of paintings, a lot of statues. Mind you, we were bored of seeing art. The entrance is under $20 per person, but students going for free. I wasn't a student at the time, but I had a picture of college student ID. I showed that and I ended up going in for free. do with that information whatever you want. Right. The train from Madrid to Barcelona, it was like under $50 per person. It's under 3 hours on the train. And when we got there, we stayed at a hotel a little farther from the city as well, but we were closer to the coast on the beach area. And again, it came back to like around $80 per person. We went to the Basilica of Sagrada Familia, and we could not go in because it's still under construction, so the doors were closed. So we were mainly at the beach and eating out on the restaurants. From Barcelona to Paris, it was a direct flight of 2 hours, and it came back to $37. The good thing about buying the flights with them is that you technically don't pay taxes, so it's most likely a flat rate. We went to the Eiffel Tower. The fee to go in varies in what you want to do. Do you want to go to the first floor, second floor, and I think the last floor? We couldn't go to the last floor because it was super windy the night that we went. So regular price was like $24, $25 per person to go in. Again, in Paris, we did go to restaurants, and I think we went shopping because it was super cold over there, so I'm not gonna count. From Paris, we flew to Germany, also a 2-hour flight, and the flight was around $20, believe it or not. In Germany, we stayed for 2 days, and then the things that we did in Germany, which were a lot of more like history-based, are free to the public. So we went to the Berlin Wall, we went to the Holocaust, we went to the Berlin Cathedral, and we went to an ice bar, which again, I'm not gonna kind of end the price because that's totally up to you guys, but it was pretty cheap as well, and it included drinks and included everything, so it was really good. And again, restaurants, we went to malls, we went out drinking, so that's very subject to each individual. Oh, I completely forgot to tell you guys about the price of the hotel in Paris. In Paris, we stayed at a really nice hotel. It was really close to the center, very close to the museum, Notre Dame, and everything. And the total was $147, which between 2 people, it came out to $74. And then in Germany, we stayed at a hotel a lot close to the center as well. And the total was $148, which again, it would be $74 per person. Now from Berlin, we took a train to Prague in Czech Republic to meet with some friends. We were in Prague for 3 days, I think. We were literally in the main street. We were staying in the main street. And then over there, I think it was around $260 because we had an extra guest staying with us, which I will just divide it by 2. It's $130 per person. But again, you are literally staying in the main street where the party goes down. All right, so from Prague, it was easiest to get a flight to Milan, which ended up being $76 per person. Once we got there, we realized it would be best to get a car because it was 3 of us. So when you do the math, getting from Milan to Venice, it was like $100 per person on the train. And then from Venice to Pisa, it was another $100 per person. So you already have $600 there. When we arrived to the airport in Milan, we ended up finding a car for $500. So it was a lot worth it for us to do it that way. Sorry, my dogs are fighting. It was a lot cheaper and better to do it that way because we were planning and we really wanted to go to the main 5 cities. So in Milan, we stayed 1 night because there's not much to do in Milan, honestly. Divided by 2, it's $58. Doing everything, we even did laundry, but laundry came back to like $10, so it wasn't really that much. Now in Venice, we did not stay because Venice is literally this small. We did the whole island or city, however you want to call it, in like under 3 hours. And there's, you know, other than doing that, there's really not much to do. In Pisa, it's almost the same thing. You do everything under 3 hours. You go in, you have 7 things that you can see, including the Leaning Tower, for a total of $27 per person, including going up the Leaning Tower. Now, we did everything. The only thing that we could not do was go up the Leaning Tower because we were there around noon and they scheduled us without letting us know. They scheduled us to go up at 8 p.m. at night. So we were just going to waste 7 hours for no reason. And we also had a wine tasting. If you don't know, Pisa is in the Tuscany region, which the best wine comes from that area. So we also had to go. Now, the wine tasting, again, subject to everybody, but it was pretty cheap and included a lot of wine and food, and they show you around. And then the same night, we went to Florence. We stayed in Florence for a total of $62 a night, which is $30 per person. The advantage of having a car, we just drove and drove and drove and ended up at the coast of Italy, where we stayed at an amazing spot for $80 the night. We saw a different region, so that's cool. And the next day we headed to Rome. Now in Rome is where we stayed the most and we did the most activities in Italy because there is a lot of history. If you like history, you will enjoy Rome. And because we were going to be there the most days, it was better to get an Airbnb, which came out to $441. Now, we did, again, have a third person with us, but I think the price was the same thing for 2 or 3 people, if you guys know how Airbnb works. So we paid the $441, divided by 2 is $220. But we were there for 4 nights, 5 days. Now, in Rome, I would not recommend driving. We turned in our car in Rome, and we were driving scooters, which were pretty cheap. We went to the Pantheon, which was like $5 per person. We also went to the Colosseum, which was $18 per person. We went to see the Roman ruins, which was like $18 per person. Now, the flight back from Rome to Miami was $567 per person. I hope I'm not missing anything. Now, I just realized after I had recorded everything, the main attractions that we did in the countries, like the Eiffel Tower, the Colosseum, the Forum, the Pantheon, all of those were at actually euros and not dollars. I'm so sorry. Those are things that you don't really need to buy ahead of time. You can buy at the spot. So at least you guys already know how much to budget for. Now, I was missing the Vatican, which is in Rome as well. I think it's 20 euros per person and you get to see the whole thing. The Vatican, it's like its own country, but it's in Rome. I think that's everything. Only things that I'm really not putting on this video will be the shopping that we did, the food that we ate, because you know, you may eat something that I don't eat and vice versa. We did drinking. We did a lot of scooting around. I think my brother-in-law alone was like $50. And I'm also not counting gas because I don't remember specifically how much we paid for gas. Now, gas in Italy is very expensive, but it's still worth it because you're on your own time. You get to go wherever. You're not on schedule. And at the end, you're going to spend more money on the trains. Well guys, I think this is everything. I hope I'm not missing anything. And if you guys have questions, you guys can always comment down below. I really hope you guys liked this video. And if you did, please thumbs up and subscribe for more. Bye.